Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors. We know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. And let's face it, we all want financial freedom and security. But so few of us have actually been taught how to build long-term wealth while still earning an income. The truth is, owning rental property is the best, most effective way to increase your income and build legacy wealth fast. I'm David Dodge, and on this show, you will discover how to take control of your finances and make your money start working for you. I am here to show you how to build long-term wealth and cash flow while paying less in taxes through owning rental properties. So stop trading your time for money and get off the transaction treadmill. Let's get started. Today, I'm going to be speaking with a good friend, a fellow multiplier, Bob Lachance. And Bob is an amazing investor. He's doing everything basically, or almost, and he's doing it in multiple markets. And on top of that, he runs a thriving business that offers virtual assistants to you and to me and to any and all investors that want to build their team. Bob, welcome to the show.
David, thanks for having me, brother. I really appreciate it, man.
Man, it is always good to get to connect with you, Bob. Every time I talk to you, you tell me something new. I'm impressed with everything you're doing. You are crushing it. Bob, tell me about your real estate investing business.
Absolutely. So I started, I think you and I spoke when we were in the beach in Tulum, Mexico. That's right. I started back in 2004, but most recently, literally the last 5 years, really picked it up. This past year, just to give you a little context, we did over 150 transactions. You know, we're doing wholesaling, we're doing wholesaling, we do some novations. I know it's a different strategy. We do the burst strategy that you teach as well on the buy and hold side. We're just really starting to pick that up. So thank you for putting obviously all your podcasts on and teaching everybody, because that is 100% something I really feel everyone should be doing that right now in today's market. So I do a bunch of stuff, a couple fix and flips. We just closed on one today. We actually made $117,000 on a fix and flip. We can go over that story.
Cow, that's a six-figure flip,
dude. But it's a funny story. You got 2 seconds for a funny story?
Yes, let's hear it.
All right, cool. So this is how this went. We had this property wholesaled, and then the rehab buyer was pissed off that our wholesale fee was too big. We would have made about 45 grand on it. So we were like, all right, screw you. We're going to buy it. Yeah, we're going to do it ourselves. And thank you very much. So we had a partner on the deal that brought us the deal. He's actually going to post it on Facebook to say, hey, listen, guys, if you're a real rehabber, don't worry about what wholesalers make, because guess what? They're going to stop bringing you deals. So that's what he's doing right now.
So true. That is so true. So that guy would have made what, 60 plus grand if he would have even paid your fee. Come on. That's an amazing profit. But you said, you know what? We're going to just do it ourselves. So I love it. Amazing. So you guys are doing wholesales, you're doing fix and flips, you have rentals, and you're using the BRRRR method. I love that. You're also doing like novations.
We're doing novations and wholesaling. And
how many different states are you operating in?
We're in, I think 6 right now. We grow we grow because we use our virtual assistants all over the country. So right now I think we're in 6 states. I got to check really with our acquisition guy, because we're doing Ohio, Arkansas, North Carolina.
You're all over the place.
Massachusetts, Connecticut. Yeah, we're all over.
So you're all over the place. You're doing all these different types of deals. You have passive income from your rentals. Bob, how is all of that possible? Like think of it from the shoes of the listener that, maybe hasn't done a deal or even has done a couple deals. And they're like, holy cow, this guy just did 150 transactions. I did 162, by the way. So I got you beat, but
I love it, dude. Congrats.
But right. I want to ask, how on earth does somebody do that many deals?
Yep.
Like you can't do that by yourself. It's impossible.
No, you have to look at 2 things, 2 main things. One is obviously your team, right? You can only do so much yourself, right? And I could tell you stories when I first started real estate, when I door knocked I mean, you can only do so much if you're doing that work yourself, right? And the other side of it is what type of systems do you have in place to actually fulfill what you need to do? Because you need people, you need team, right? That's first and foremost. And you also need the right systems in place to be able to obviously navigate the waters of doing, for you, 160 plus transactions, for me over 150. So I think those two things are extremely
I think
important.
we're both doing just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing all right.
So you had mentioned team, and
Yep.
I love that. So if you are new in this business, what is typically, and you obviously have hundreds of employees that service real estate investors all over the country and probably all over the world. You know, what is somebody typically hiring their first or second VA for? And
Yep.
VA is virtual assistant for those who don't know.
Yep. So a lot of people use them for different, you got to look at what niche you're in. So majority of the people are wholesalers, right? Are we talking wholesalers? Or are we talking also about BRRRR and buy and hold investors on it? So
all of the above, because really, I mean,
okay.
wholesaling is where it typically starts. It doesn't have to by any means, but marketing, right?
Bingo. So that's where I was going to start with. So some of the things that we as investors, we have to figure out what's the best use of our time. The best use of our time is not doing the mundane tasks that you could pay someone $10 an hour for. Let's call it what it is, right? So what I would do is I would look at my calendar and say, all right, what am I doing each and every week that I could take off my plate that's also sapping my energy? So for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. So we have, I think we're over 10 to 15 cold callers that are cold calling, virtual assistants that are cold calling, right? So what that means, we're giving them a list. Let's just say it is a non-owner occupied list, means they don't live in the property. So what we do is we pull it down from a place like RealFlow or PropStream or whatever list provider that you pull it from. Then we skip trace them, which means you get the phone numbers, and then we upload them into a dialer. And then that's when the virtual assistant takes over. So virtual assistants are calling 8 hours a day. So you can imagine 8 hours a day. So to answer your question, I would get my first cold caller, and I would also have somebody text message. So we do cold calling, text messaging, direct mail. That's what we do in our office.
Same.
Yep. So we do the same thing. So obviously on the direct mail side, they can answer the phone, pre-screen the lead, and send it over. So the cold caller's main job, and this is very, very important, the main job is to get any type of motivation for that seller so they can then hand it off to you or your acquisition manager,
which could be another virtual assistant.
It could. It
is in my case.
Yep. So I always recommend you look at, and that's a system, right? In my opinion, that's a system.
Well, I would say mine's more of a lead manager. We have local people that do the acquisitions for the most part, but yes, I agree. Yep.
So I know for me personally, when I first started, I was door knocking and I was doing leave behind. And then I would come home, I would skip trace those records. These were all pre-foreclosure back. This is back in 2004, all pre-foreclosures. So what I would do is then do 411.com to try to find their phone number. I know there's a lot of different services these days, 411.com, and then I would hammer the phone for another 2-3 hours to see if I could get someone live. So I did that for a full year, and that beats you up. That gets you tired. I mean, that drains your energy if you gotta be on the phone cold call all day long. So perfect thing to outsource to a virtual assistant.
Absolutely. I have 8 VAs, I believe. I always get confused. It's 7 or 8. I think it's 8. 3 of them are cold callers. 1 of them's text, 2 lead managers, and then various, just assistant type work. And also have some other people on the team that are here local, of course. But having the virtual assistants has changed the game for me. It has changed my life. It has changed my business. It has changed my income, but most importantly, it has changed the amount of time that I have to commit to the business, right? It has bought my time back. So hiring a virtual assistant, regardless of what they're doing, I don't look at that as an expense anymore. I look at that as an investment in my time. So anybody that's listening or watching, just understand that you have to build a team if you want to scale your business beyond doing, what do you think's feasible, Bob, for somebody to do on their own without pulling their hair out? Maybe 2 or 3 deals a month.
Yeah,
maybe there's a rock star out there doing 4 or 5, but there's no way that you're going to be able to do 10 or 15 or in some cases 20 deals in a month by yourself. There's no way.
It's not even, you start looking at, the way I actually, when I first started doing this and first started using my virtual assistant before I started my company, is I looked at it and said, what could I do with an extra 40 hours a week of my own time back? Like, what actually can you do? Can you raise more money, right? Can you close more deals? Can you, what is it that you can do with an extra 40 hours? And that's a very powerful exercise I think everyone should go through to look at, say, all right, if I could have extra 40 hours a week back of my time, because we all know as entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting out, dude, you ain't working 40 hours. You're working 60,
80,
70, 80.
90,
Yeah, you
100.
are.
Yeah.
Right. And we all, hey, dude, we all did it. We all
You
did it
have
when we
that
first started.
grit. You got to grind.
You
Yeah.
got to grind. You got to grind. So you got to start looking at it that way. So in every niche, let's call it what it is. You look at property management, right? You have a ton of properties. VAs can take tenant calls, right? Because
let's list off a bunch of things that VAs can do. So not only can they do marketing for you, right? But they can manage the leads. They can follow up with those leads.
They can make offers.
Make offers. My VAs are authorized to send signed offers
to
a seller because, there's tons of outs in our contracts. We're not worried about it. I just want to get them under contract before I have to even look at those deals, right?
Right.
I mentioned follow-up. They can do transaction coordination. They can do bookkeeping. I mean, the list goes on. Give me another 10 things they can do.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at each niche, right. And one of the ones you said is follow-up is huge because you look at all of those leads. I mean, and I know this statistic kind of is different in every office, right? You need to touch somebody about between 6 to 10 times to turn that into profit.
4 to 6 months in my market.
From when the lead comes into the door for you, 4 to 6 months.
6 to 10 times minimum. Our average is probably 30.
Yep.
Whenever I tell the new students that I say, hey, the average touches is about 30, they're like, what? Like, you can't believe it. And I'm like,
you're like, I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to reach out to that person 30 times.
Okay. Well,
that's why I hire a virtual assistant.
Do that.
Exactly.
That's right. Bring in the virtual assistant. But if you want to do deals, you have to constantly touch these people, right? You have to keep following up. And, I got 7+ years worth of data, 700+ transactions, just wholesale alone. And it's 4 to 6 months. And here's the thing. Every month or, every quarter or every year, that number is skewing farther and farther because we're closing deals from 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 years ago because we are relentless with our follow-up. But here's the thing. I'm not doing it. The team is. The team
you know what I love too? When you read these articles on like Housing Wire and you read these agent articles saying, well, there's no product out there. Why is it that the investors like you, the investors like me, I mean, you look at my board, I think I have over 100 properties under contract right now, like literally on the board. I'm like, well, I think there's product out there. You just have to have the right systems. And our systems are using our virtual assistants to cold call, to text, to take inbound calls, right? To actually motivate or to screen through all the BS leads that come in and send them over to our sales floor or acquisition team, right? So those are the things we also do. You brought that up. We do a pre-foreclosure campaign. So here in Connecticut, there's a judicial website where all of the pre-foreclosure leads or lists, I should say, are uploaded. And you got to go through each docket. So a VA is going through each docket, scraping those leads. A lot of times there's phone numbers inside those dockets for the sellers. I guarantee you, no one else is doing this. Right. So we do this in our market with our VA. So there's just another great idea on the lead generation side that I think everybody should do, because think about this. And what a short sale means, just so everybody knows, a pre-foreclosure means is when they stop paying their mortgage, right? And the bank is going after them to take the house back. What happens in those situations is either the property is over debted, meaning, as an example, the debt is $100,000, but a property is worth 70. We have to discount and we have to negotiate it down. I did over 1,000 of those back in the day, right? Or the other side of it is you could look at they may have equity, since a lot of these areas in this country have appreciated. So that is the freaking gold right there.
Dude. Come in with some cash and just buy that thing.
Oh, there it is.
I love it.
That's exactly right. But there's a lot of different strategies you could do. And there's just a perfect example of one.
Bob, I admire you so much because the first thing you said when we jumped on before I hit the record button was, I just hired a coach. And I was like, oh man, that's amazing. I always have several coaches in my life. I think right now I maybe have 4 of them. And a coach, I remember probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I had this coach and he said, hey, Dave, how many hours a week, do you have to commit to your business? And I thought about it, and I was like, well, I mean, I would think, 8 to 10 hours a day if I really want to hustle hard. And he's like, well, give me a number. I'm like, I don't know, 50 hours. And he goes, that is such a terrible way to look at it. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he was like, well, you personally have 50 hours, but you could really spend 4 or 5 or 10 hours by building a team. And if you have 10 people that are putting in, 40 hours a week, now you have 400 hours in a week to all be on the same focused mission: marketing, find these sellers, make offers, set appointments, close deals. I love that. I love that.
And I'll just add to that. I mean, I think it's important too on the coach side of it. I've been in this business for a long time. I started in 2004 in real estate investing. I'm 48 years old right now. And I have coaches like you, just like you. I have 3 different types of coaches, right? I have obviously you need the mindset coach, you need a marketing coach, and we have a sales coach. That's what we have right now. And I guarantee we're probably going to have different types of coaches, but going through the years as well, up now until in the future as well. But I think it's really important because, you look at what a coach can do for you. They could help you make money quicker, right? All the mistakes, dude, I could tell you mistakes, man. I lost 150 grand on a knockdown rebuild in Greenwich, Connecticut. I'll tell you what not to do. I marketed in the rare reminder, 5 grand for one insert in a freaking newspaper. I'll tell you what not to do.
Right.
So the beauty of those,
but that's how that's how we learn.
That's how you learn, and that's how you understand.
And guess what a coach is going to do? He's going to say, I've made this mistake. Don't do that. Right. So they're going to prevent you from spending time and money. They're also going to shorten the curve of getting
without a doubt
where you want to be, without a doubt. But back to the team. If you want to scale your business, or maybe you don't want to necessarily do more deals, maybe you want to do more with less, right? So when I say less, I mean time. Right? Maybe you want to buy back your time and your freedom. And that's why I love
time right there. Scale efficiency time.
And that's why I love 2 things about real estate. One is, well, hundreds of things, but the 2 top things that I love, one is rental properties, passive income, cash flow, tax advantages. And number 2, it is having the ability to have a team to be able to have, 8, 10, 12. I think my team right now is 13 or 14 people, and everybody has a shared goal, but we also have different things that we're all working on constantly. Right. And if I was trying to juggle that many balls, I would, that it would be impossible. It doesn't work, so you have to build a team. Bob, where can people go to learn more about REVA and building a team?
Absolutely. You could go to REVA.team. So REVA.team. Check it out. I think you have show notes, or where could you post that?
Yeah. We'll post it in the show notes, but it's super simple. Not .com, guys. REVA, REVA.team. Go over there, check it out. On that site, you can actually download a list of 100+ things that virtual assistants can do to help you in your business. Maybe you don't even realize all these activities that you're probably spending that are the 5, the 8, the 10, the 20, even the $50 an hour activities, right? That you can get somebody else to do so you can focus working on your business instead of in your business. Because when you start working on your business, you start building out and developing a team. You start doing more deals like Mr. Bob here, doing hundreds of transactions. And you can even expand out into multiple markets. And Bob, you had mentioned this earlier too. It doesn't even have to necessarily be marketing. I have virtual assistants that help with property management. We have virtual assistants that help manage the Airbnb rentals that we have. We have virtual assistants that help with bookkeeping. I have virtual assistants that will even help me book like reservations and flights and just help me in my personal life. It is amazing. So guys, build a team so you can buy back your freedom. All right, Bob, what's that domain again?
It is REVA.team, TEAM. So REVA.team.
I love it. Bob, thank you so much for your time. I am forever grateful to you and your company because you have helped me with the virtual assistants that you employ buy back my freedom. I absolutely love it. So thank you so much for coming on today. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed today's podcast and found a ton of value in this episode. If you're interested in creating wealth through rental properties using the BRRRR method and achieving financial freedom in your life, go to wholesalinginc.com/rentals. Check out what the program is all about and schedule a call with my team. And on the call, we'll discuss your real estate investing goals and how BRRRR method mastery can help you get there. I would love to help you get started on your way to generating passive income and creating legacy wealth with rentals. Every single one of you is capable of success, and more importantly, you are worthy of it. Thanks for listening. Signing out. Awesome, Bob. You're the man.
Very nice, brother. Very nice.